Well, the human side of money, which is talked about more and more, is not a pretty shiny new, practice or tool. The human side of money is a way of seeing and going and holding the experience of financial planning, and it's the practice of financial planning. And let me explain that a little bit. The practical side of money and the money mechanics of financial planning are something that we train in, and there are right answers. There are metrics that are part of the process. But all of that doesn't have any meaning until we bring a precious human being into the picture. And so there's a beautiful integration with a person's money and their life, which is what really matters. So Colman Knight was founded on that truth that, we are going to be client-centric. It is the client, the precious human sitting in front of us, that guides those decisions. And money becomes then a servant to how a person's life wants to unfold and manifest for their benefit, for the benefit of what matters to them. We cherish our clients. And our cherishing our clients, their stories, their hopes and their dreams and their fears, allows them to engage with us in a way that I think is unique in life, and it's certainly unique in financial planning. To be able to hold this unconditional space that allows clients to be vulnerable and tell their stories and to tell us their dreams and their wishes, while we also feel vulnerable in holding that for them and with them, is a practice that comes from having the motivation for our clients to be able to live their dreams and their hopes, what matters most to them. So we have always brought in the human side of money. We've always brought in the heart. I like to think that that's part of the future of financial planning, that we fuel our answers through the heart. We bring in obviously the knowledge of money, which is, obviously a part of the work we do, very important part. But the real fuel for a person's meaningful life comes through that integration of our heart and our mind. I never intended to start my own company, but it was a response to my experience the first 5 years of my career. I was very disappointed, I was very confused, and I saw only a desire for profit, not really considering people. The climate of the corporate world was look at the money, take care of the money, and there's a person over here that, occasionally was considered. And I wanted to be a financial planner because I was motivated to serve people. And that motivation started when I was in college. I was in a course, Dr. O'Toole's risk management course, and I was looking at these property and casualty insurance policies. I had the homeowner's policy out in front of me, and I was going through the details, and I had this, pause and an aha moment of, wow, this is really important information. This is the practical application of money. And I'd like to be able to help people make wise financial decisions. And what are my friends going to do who are getting liberal arts degrees? So this was this first time I actually felt that the things that I was studying in school actually made a difference in our world for people. So I started out thinking, okay, financial planning is going to be client-centered, people-centered. And it wasn't. The human side of money was missing. And I had a lot of anger too, I'll be honest. I wasn't just disappointed and I wasn't just confused. I was frustrated and I was angry. And I knew people deserved better. But I can even feel myself right now just getting agitated because I could see that the potential of what financial planning could be was not happening. So the moment we had an opportunity, my partner in life, my partner in business, we jumped and never looked back, and we have no regrets. I've had a lot of pivotal moments in our work. There's one in particular where we were with a client. He and his wife were sitting and signing some documents that allowed him to transfer his business, selling it to his daughter. And it was exactly what he wanted. And we had done everything, right, all the finances, all of the personal desires, everything was done perfectly. There's always a right answer when you come from a conceptual, rational mind. It's like there's going to be one right answer in money. And when we were going through this transaction, we finished, and we're sitting there, and I innocently asked, I'll call him George, "George, are you happy?" And for a moment there was this silence, and then his shoulders humped over, his head and fell, and he began to sob. And I remember just, it was such a tender moment, and I was not in shock, but I was almost in awe that this could happen, and that here we do everything right, just like we're trained. And there's a different response than you're expecting, or than I was expecting. And of course, at that time, I look up and my partner was looking at me with like these big golf ball eyes, like, what the heck have you done? But it was a precious, beautiful moment. And at that moment, I said to myself, we have so much more to learn. We're still in the infancy of this profession, and there's so much more complexity to money and to us as humans. And that was the beginning of even more training and more understanding of how important money is in our lives of fulfillment, our lives of, of truly understanding what it is to be here on this earth as a human. When we've had our pivotal moments, like the one I talked about with our client, that was the moment I said, we can only go as far with our clients as we've gone with ourselves. And so we began to train in the areas of psychology and behavioral finance. And we're part of this very pioneering peer group in financial planning that knew that the psychology of money and behavioral finance had a huge impact in how money would unfold in human existence. And Money and the Meaning of Life, Jacob Needleman's book, was pivotal in some of the beginning. And so our journey for our clients in integral wealth planning developed through that training, through that devotion, to that devotion. And then I realized through my practices that even studying the psychology of money, even studying and understanding behavioral finance, we were missing our heart. We're missing this center and the essence of who we were as humans, that we were still bringing concepts into the practices of financial planning. And I understood more and more how fear was this through line of money, and that we really needed to be able to capture and understand and develop the wisdom of not only our knowledge, but our heart. So that has been an instrumental part of the development of Colman Knight and our integral wealth and our study with integral theory. All had a strong influence in how we have brought forth our approach to financial planning. You know, it's kind of funny. I don't think about impact so much. Sometimes impact feels like it's going to be this, big splash. I think what matters more are the little ripples. And what I mean by that is trusting that the work we're doing does have ripples. It's like even impacting the life of one person or one family is going to have ripples from that. And I believe that the work that we do supports people in feeling their own safety, their own connection to themselves and to others, their own self-worth, a life that is, I was going to say fearless in the way that you know that you're going to be okay. You know that you can navigate anything that comes your way, and that love, and I keep talking about that because I think, fear is this underbelly, this undercurrent of money. And the future I would love to see, and the impact I would love to see, would be that love is this antidote to fear, and that we have, and love being generosity and sufficiency and creativity, that I believe true financial planning will evolve to that, where everyone gets to flourish with their own sense of worth and creativity and love and vibrancy. So that would be my hope and dream. And one way that I like to look at the work we do is not just from our lifetime, but I think about what's the 500-year plan. And when I take that view, really there's such a beautiful release of an attachment, like it has to be done a certain way. There's a trust that we're going to take these steps, these baby steps, and building this again integral human side of money. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And by the way, there's also a book you can find. It's called The Body of Money, and it is a self-help guide to creating your own peace and happiness. It's my gift to the world.